sucks outside right now.
It's raining.
Ann Arbor.
It's really cold outside right now.
43 degrees, feels like 34 degrees.
Yeah. Frigid. Winter came back. Not good. Not fun. We keep getting teased. It's warm and then it's cold and then it's warm and it's cold.
We're in the land of Wolverines right now.
I don't like being in the
I
land of
know.
Wolverines.
So we should explain that real quick.
I feel so out of the place right now. I'm actually from Southern Ohio. I was this close to going to Ohio State in college, so I live in ground zero right now.
Sparty on.
Yeah.
And I was named after a Michigan football player, so I didn't have much choice of where I went to college.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I
we're
didn't
just-
know that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. We're just waiting for people to tune in right now so we can get started with our interview. It's going to be a fun one today, guys, so we're excited.
What are we doing away?
Oh yeah, we're giving away a brand new Alta Pro 2 Plus 263 AB100 tripod. When did we launch them? Last week? Last week, so it's brand new. You're going to be one of the first people to have it, and it's awesome. So stay tuned, and we'll tell you how to win. Let's get started. So we're here in Ann Arbor, if you missed that earlier, at Camera Mall on Washington Street. I'm standing here with the co-founder of Camera Mall, Desmond Kolean-Burley. And yeah, we have a real fun interview for you today. This is episode 4 now? Episode
Yep.
4? Desmond and the team here have a really interesting story about how they got started, how the shop even opened up in the first place. And in such a digital world, we just have an interesting story to tell you. So yeah, we're excited. Let's get started. Check out the store while we're walking through here. Desmond, I've known you for like, what, a year and a half or so now?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've heard the story of Camera Mall, but I've read it online. I know you guys did a thing on Amazon,
Yeah.
right? Which was awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you guys got started here?
Yeah, so basically, I was graduating high school. So believe it or not, that was 7 years ago now. I needed to print out my graduation invitations for my graduation party.
As we all do.
And so I went to a camera shop to go ahead and get those printed. And while we were at the camera store, my mom was pestering me about getting a job. You know, basically, I hadn't had a job before, and she was like, well, you know, it's time to grow up and have real responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So while I was at the camera shop, I inquired about a position, you know. Mm-hmm. And originally I was told, oh, we don't have any positions. But when I came to pick up my graduation invitations, I was told that they were actually taking, you know, applications. So I applied and got the job, and it was a small camera store in West Michigan. So for you Michiganders out there, we do a hand thing to show where we're located. So it was right here, and we are now right here.
Awesome.
So basically got the job that summer, and it went really well. And the owner of that shop is now my business partner here for this store. Mm-hmm. Went to college and, you know, worked there in the summers. I had a standing offer to come back, and started an online business for them on Amazon my second summer back, and that really took off, and I ended up, you know, running that remotely from college. And, you know, after graduating, I, you know, made the proposal to open a brick and mortar shop in Ann Arbor. I went to college at Michigan here, if you didn't catch that earlier. So, you know, this was really, you know, what I saw as the perfect location for a brick and mortar shop. You know, it's a, you know, really fun and vibrant environment. So here we are.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. That's really cool. Let's talk a little bit about how you guys kind of, I mean, we're in a digital age now, and I mean, all the time you hear about like retail isn't doing so well because Amazon, like how do you guys, because you guys have something a little unique that you do here, so how do you guys handle?
Yeah, you know, I think we have a unique perspective because we got our start online, so we really had to, you know, since we started online and worked backwards into retail, I think we learned a lot of good lessons from online that we're applying currently to our retail store. One of them is you have to be price competitive, so on all our, you know, cameras and lenses, we have the exact same price as like, you know, Amazon, B&H, Adorama, any of those, you know, big retailers. But in addition to that, customer service. It's a really competitive environment online, and the only way to differentiate yourself, if everybody has the same price, is to offer good customer service.
Right.
So we do our best with that, and then having like a liberal return policy is another component of that. Making sure people feel safe to make that purchase.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I know every time I've come in here, even before I really knew you and that stuff, I came in here a couple times, and everybody was always very helpful, wanted to show you stuff, wanted to get stuff in your hands, and I feel like that's cool. And it's definitely something that you don't get when you buy stuff online. I know for me, I'm like a camera bag, I have so many camera bags, and I used to buy them online, but now it's almost like I have to go, because I want to see it, you want to feel it, you want to like see what inserts it has. You don't get that in pictures, you know what I mean? You can't, I don't know. That's just me, though. I feel like other photographers are similar. Like, you want to try your stuff out and have it in your hands before you actually make the purchase.
The other thing, too, is, part of having a small business is that you have experts, people to, help you make decisions. And, that's going to go away if you don't have small businesses anymore. These people that have, like, 30 or 40 years of, knowledge, going back and able to, they bring you something, and then you say, "Oh, it's this problem right here." That's not going to be there anymore. If everything shifts to online.
Right.
So, I think there's definitely still value, in terms of what we offer, in addition to just touching and trying things.
Very cool, awesome. I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. So we are giving away a new tripod today. They just launched online last week. It's the new Vanguard Ultra Pro 2 Plus 263 AB100. So that's a tripod and ball head you're getting. Awesome deal. We have one sitting right here. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll tell you how you're going to win one of those in just a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about what other things you guys do here. I mean, obviously we're surrounded by gear everywhere. So you sell all this stuff. What else do you do?
Well, part of running a good business, is having multiple ways to support it. So kind of like a tripod, you need a retail, end of it, you need services, and then our third, leg is online. So having those multiple, ways to support the business really helps in terms of making sure that you can, survive, if one of the legs, isn't supporting.
Swept out from under you.
Yeah. So, what we do in addition to retail, the service component of the business, we offer rentals. We also are, rolling out a lab business. So,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it too. We actually just finished our, back room lab. So, moving equipment in there and getting started and, offering archival services like converting old, home movies to DVD. Offering, old slides to DVD and negatives to, CD and DVD. But in addition to that, we'd like to get into like large, printing, and then also we've been offering film development for, some time, the color film, and that's going really well. Kind of like LP records, it's coming back, and
absolutely.
You've got a vibrant, college culture here, and lots of young people getting into it.
I know that was, really what made me fall in love with photography was being in the darkroom in college. Like, I took pictures before, but, like, something about that experience with film was something that, like, I don't know, it just kind of cemented the love of photography there. So that's really awesome that you guys are going to be providing that. Well, let's talk about events. You guys, I do events here from time to time. I know you guys throw a ton of events. So talk about what you do there and how that kind of works within your business model.
Yeah, we're, strong believers that, photography is, this great thing, and we want to create excitement about it. We want people to, come out and have an excuse to take pictures. So, a big component of our business is, throwing like big events where, we try to have something going on all day, have them be free, and, You've helped out on several events, from, giving a workshop to, leading a photo walk. But really it helps to create that, that excitement for photography. And we kind of think if we do that, everything else kind of falls into place. So, You know, in addition to that, we like to bring in the manufacturers to give people an opportunity to talk one-on-one, you know, with, you know, manufacturer representatives. So I think, you know, a lot of it is just, you know, giving people an excuse to go out and take pictures.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think one of my favorite things when I do, well, I mean, a workshop's a little bit different. I always kind of have a Q&A session at the end, but I feel like photo walks really, like you get all those questions that maybe people, I mean, I'm a Google person, so I'm always, if I run into a problem, I'm like, has anyone else had this problem? But like, there are people that don't really do that, you know what I mean? So all the time on photo walks, I have people ask me, well, how does this work? Or how would I achieve this result on my camera? So I feel like having that connection, like you were talking about, just like an in-store connection with somebody, it just, I don't know, it's a human connection, and I think that's something that's kind of gone by the wayside in the land of social media and everything. Even though social media is awesome, but human connection is definitely something we need. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I was going to say. That also helps, just these events help build a local community of people that are here. I mean, I run into people here. Last time I was in here, you know, a girl that just attended one of my last workshops, she came in and was in here looking for something, and I got to help her out. Like, I was in here just hanging out, and she was like, hey, and I was like, hey, I just saw you last weekend, and, you know, we got talking about something. And I just, you know, you build relationships, and it's awesome.
Not as much a question, but a comment from Stephen Lithman, actually, which I like. My local camera store in Salem just closed. My local option is now Best Buy. Good selection, but the knowledge base is not the same as a dedicated camera store staff, and that's, I think, an important point.
Absolutely,
So,
Yeah, that's a great point to make. Obviously, a camera store is going to be staffed by people that know exactly what they're talking about on all fronts, so that's definitely a bummer that your store closed. So we were talking a little bit about events. Let's just talk a little bit about, like I said, local community, maybe building a customer base, how you guys have been, how you've managed to be successful in building a customer base, and that also ties back into events.
You know, there were a lot of different, you know, local photography meetup groups in the area, you know, before, you know, we got started here. I think there were at least 3 or 4, you know, photography meetups. But, you know, people didn't really have a place that was like the designated gathering, you know, spot. So what we've tried to do is become like a hub for photography groups. So, you know, and during our last event, we actually had, I believe, every meetup group in this area, you know, come out and, you know, lead, you know, a photo walk. So, you know, I really think that's valuable because, you know, not only are those, you know, photography groups, you know, coming in and participants, you know, meeting us, but we're also, you know, helping to steer people to those photography groups. So somebody buys a camera and they're like, well, what now, you know? So we offer classes, but like, you know, a lot of times people want, you know, an excuse to go out and take pictures. And so being able to, you know, let people know about these photography groups, you know, and kind of act as like a hub to get them, you know, involved is really important to us.
That's cool. Awesome.
And why don't we mention how everyone can be eligible to win now?
All right, so we talked about this earlier. Ultra Pro 2 Plus, it's brand new. This is the 263 AB100. So we're giving one of these away today. It is an awesome tripod, and all you got to do is drop us a comment. Say something like, hey, gonna support my local camera store. Say hi, say whatever. Any comment is going to be eligible to win, and we're giving it away after the show. So we'll announce the winner after the show's over, and we've had a chance for all the comments to roll in for people that are watching the video a little later. So yeah, just throw us a comment, and you'll be entered to win.
Nice.
Yeah, so I feel like how do you go about, I don't want to say just stocking your shelves, but choosing kind of what you guys put on your shelves?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. You know, a lot of it, you know, comes down to what people would expect to see in a store. So, you know, a lot of times we start with like the, you know, name brand and, you know, kind of work out from there. But it is really tricky. We need to be able to choose products that, you know, we can actually, you know, sell at a profit. And believe it or not, it's, you know, harder to do nowadays than, you know, it was in the past. A lot of companies have something called a MAP policy, which is like a minimum advertised price that you're allowed to, you know, list products for. So, those policies really help small businesses like us, but there are, certain cases where, name brands don't have a MAP policy, and it ends up, becoming a case where, Amazon or B&H are actually selling at prices that are below, what we can order from the manufacturer. So that makes it a really tough situation, and, in a lot of cases, it's not even feasible to, stock that product anymore. But kind of weighing those two things, and with Vanguard specifically, I kind of grew up, learning, with Vanguard tripods. They're a Michigan-based company, and we're Michigan-based as well. So, the tripods have always been exceptional quality. And one of my favorite parts is like the naming conventions actually make sense. Like, when numbers actually, tell you something about the tripod. Like, how many sections is it? What is the leg diameter?
Right.
What is it made of?
I know I went through that. I had the world's crappiest tripod for the longest time, and I always thought it's not really necessary for me to have a tripod because I had a crappy tripod to fall back on. And then when I went out to buy like my first real tripod, I was just like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. Like, no, not to name any names, but I was just like, I really just don't see it. So yeah, it definitely is pretty cool. We're glad to be in your store because it's a great store, and everybody should come down here and check it out. What's the address again?
518 East Washington Street, and that's Ann Arbor, Michigan, downtown Ann Arbor.
Awesome, downtown Ann Arbor. We're like a hop, skip, and a jump away from everything down here, so it's easy to stop in when you're downtown. Let's talk a little bit about some events that you have coming up.
Sure. So in June, we're actually planning a couple. They're not set in stone yet. Normally, we'd have them published on Facebook, as soon as they're, finalized.
So like Camera Mall's Facebook page.
Yes, then you'll find out about them. Our first one is going to be on June 17th. We're actually going to be having a Nikon Day here at the store. And then we've done that before. We were going to be doing a brand new event that we've never done before the following weekend, June 24th, and that's a Saturday from 9:30 to 4. And that's going to be a video workshop. So we're calling it Camera Mall's Video Boot Camp. But we're going to be bringing in manufacturers, that, are involved, in making videos. So think things like, cameras, lenses, tripods, microphones, any sort of, stabilization system, lighting. So those are all things that we're going to be bringing in. And then we're going to give, people an opportunity to, try things out, become outfitted, and also we're going to have events going on all day, for people to learn about those products.
Speaking of events, Anthony wants to know: do you guys ever stream online any of the events, or is that something you consider doing?
That's a great question. We haven't streamed online. We're kind of getting into video too. This event is kind of an excuse for us to get into that. A lot of times we take pictures and then we do shoot videos of events and post them afterwards, but we've never tried the live streaming thing. This is kind of a new thing for me.
Yeah, we should do one. We should plan one.
Yeah.
First live streaming workshop.
I'd love that.
At some point. That'd be fun, yeah. I think that's kind of all the questions I have, like specifically. What's your most popular camera selling right now?
Oh man, that's a tricky question. I could say, I could definitely say, mirrorless has become a category of camera that's definitely been growing in our shop. 5 years ago, mirrorless was this like emerging, technology, and a lot of people were like, oh, that's not, nearly as good as mirrored cameras. But it's kind of been astounding how, quickly that, has changed.
It's caught up so fast to the point where, it used to be people would say, well, how can you go from shooting a full-frame camera to shooting an APS-C type camera? And I had that mindset at one point. Yeah. When I got my first full-frame camera, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to go back.
Right.
But everything has kind of caught up to the point where, all the technology is going into mirrorless cameras, and they're really catching up fast. So.
Yeah. It's funny, too, like, we used to have to kind of tell people about, like, oh, this is what a mirrorless camera is, and, this is why you should, potentially think about it. But now it's, people come in every day, I want this camera, and it's a mirrorless camera,
That's cool.
Kind of astounding.
Awesome. Yeah, mirrorless is definitely looking like it's the future. We have any other comments, questions?
No,
Let's plug the tripod one more time. So just drop us a comment and enter to win this brand new Ultra Pro 2 Plus 263 80-100. Just really nice tripod. It's brand new. Great for macro shooters, great for landscape shooters. Obviously, it's a tripod. But yeah, just drop any comment on our video, and we'll probably look, I don't know, towards the next couple hours, and we'll pick out a winner from everyone who's commented.
Maybe just walk through what makes it unique.
Let's talk a little bit about it. You saw the articulating head. So one of the great features of this tripod is just that the head is able to articulate in so many different ways. It locks down. One of the great benefits to this over the old Ultra Pro tripod is it used to have a button that you had to press to get it to switch, and now it doesn't, and it's all very, very seamless and cool. So yeah, it's just a great tripod. This is an aluminum tripod, so it's very lightweight, but it's still sturdy. You know, it's everything you need in a tripod.
It's sexier than the old one.
It really is. I love the gray. Like everything in the camera world is traditionally black and just very sleek, and I don't know, I feel like it definitely stands out. It's got what do we call it? Anthracite.
Yeah.
It's just like a gunmetal gray, and then the yellow-orange contrasting colors really make it pop. So it's very, very sexy, very functional, everything that you want in a tripod.
And it's very free right now if you comment.
It's very free if you comment. So.
But Desmond, you have some of these here though to sell.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So stop in Camera Mall if you don't win.
Yeah, stop in and take a look at them. Even if you don't win a tripod, just come down and look at it and play around with it. Because like we were talking about earlier, there's nothing better than getting your hands on something before you choose to buy it. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Again, Camera Mall in Ann Arbor on Washington. Awesome store. You need to come by and check it out. Thanks so much, Desmond.
Folks.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate it.
We'll see you guys later.